In this video, which is the fourth one that I've produced for the new AS Economics, what I really want to focus on now is production possibility boundaries. In this, I'm also going to bring in lots of other key terms, but a really important one will be the opportunity cost. Okay, now let's think about what a production possibility boundary is first of all. By the way, guys, economists love to confuse things. Production possibility boundaries can also be known as production possibility curves and production possibility frontiers. So let's think about what these graphs can show us. Okay, now what we do, we create a set of axes, and let's label the axes as goods and services. Now the idea is the further I get away from 0, the more goods I'm producing. On the horizontal axis, the further away you get from 0, again, the more services that I'm producing. What we should remember is that there is a maximum output that a country can produce. It's what we call the factor endowment of the country. It will limit how much can be produced. And just to think about it logically, the more land you've got, the more labour you've got, the more capital, the more enterprise. In other words, the more factors of production you've got, the more that you can produce in your country. Now let's imagine we have a country that has this as a production possibility boundary. Okay, now what this line shows me is the maximum numbers of goods and services and different combinations that a country can produce. And just to keep things simple, let's stick some numbers on the axes. Okay, now what this shows me, that if I were to use all my resources just to make goods, then I could produce a maximum of 10 goods. Okay, if I go the other side, if I were to make 10 services, in other words, use all of my resources to make services, I would be able to make 0 goods. Now from the word go, this brings in the idea of the opportunity cost. In other words, what we lose by having to make a choice. Okay, so let's take somewhere in the middle. Let's take this point. Now if I go here, we can see roughly that I'm making 5 goods and 8 services. Let's just call that point A. Okay, so it means in this country that if I were to use my resources in this way, I'm producing 5 goods and 8 services. Now let's imagine that in my country suddenly that I wanted to produce 8 goods. Okay, so I've gone from making 5 to 8 goods. Now the only way I could do this would be to pull resources away from making services. Okay, so it could be that someone that used to be employed making services, or some capital that was making services, have been dragged across to making goods instead. Now look at this. In order to produce 3 additional goods to go from 5 to 8, I've had to sacrifice 3 services. So in other words, my opportunity cost would be 3 services. Okay, so remember, a production possibility boundary shows the maximum number of goods and services, or different combinations of goods and services, that a country can produce with their factor endowment. Okay, now for your exam, you need to be aware of 2 different shaped production possibility boundaries. Okay, let's label the axes again, goods and services. So goods, services. Okay, now sometimes you'll see a production possibility boundary to be like this. It's literally a straight line. Sometimes it will be this curved line, and in the exam it's very unlikely you'll get a set of axes that have got numbers. So let's go somewhere in the middle. G1 and S1. Let's call that point A. Now look what happens now. If I were to go from making G1, S1, goods and services, I need to make more goods. So I'll move up to G2. Okay, now in order to make more goods, again, what I've got to do is to claw resources away from making services. So again, the opportunity cost would be services. Okay, now what you will see here is that what I have got is a constant opportunity cost. Wherever I go along this production possibility boundary, the opportunity cost will stay the same. Now all that really means is, look at this. That gap there, G1 to G2, is exactly the same as that gap there. I've got a constant opportunity cost. And just to prove it, let's go a little bit further down. Let's imagine we start off further down. Let's call this G3, S3. And let's imagine now I wanted to produce even less goods and more services. So what I do, that should be S3, not 4. I now make less goods to make more services. Look at that. I've given up that many goods to gain that many services. We've got a constant opportunity cost along that line. Basically, what I'm saying here is that resources that I'm using to make goods and services are equally as good at making goods or services. Okay, so in an economy, it means that somebody working in the bank making services is just as good at making cars as he is selling mortgages to people, for example. It's very unrealistic when you think about what that means. Okay, let's think about the other one, where we have this curved line. Now this shows something completely different. Again, let's go in the middle, where I'm making G1 goods and S1 services. Look what happens now. If I were to make more goods, I go to G2, so I'm moving from point A to point B. Okay? Look at that. I'm clawing resources away from making goods, sorry, from making services towards making goods. Well, that's what happens now. If I were to make even more goods, so G2 to G3, look what happens now. I've made a few more goods, but nothing massive, and I've had to sacrifice way more services than what I did do before. Okay, now think about why this is fairly accurate from an economy. What I've got on this graph is a changing opportunity cost. Okay, now the idea would be the closer I get to maximum number of goods, this cross here, the worse the new resources will be. Okay, if I were to move someone away from making services towards making goods, well, there will be people that get dragged across that are no good at making goods, basically not able to do it. Okay, the other extreme, if I wanted to make maximum services, there'll be some resources that get dragged across to making services that are useless, not very good at all for making goods. Now a lot of this stuff at the moment you're thinking, oh, this is bloody complicated. Let's make it a little bit simpler. Okay, so let's think now about a real life example of this. Let's think about college. We offer A-levels and we offer BTECs. Imagine we had this production possibility boundary. Okay, now let's imagine that the college could offer a maximum, to keep the numbers simple, 100 A-level places or 100 BTEC. Let's imagine at the moment we had 50 of each. Okay, let's call it point A. Let's imagine that during enrolment it became clear that the BTEC provision had increased massively. Loads more people wanted to do BTEC. So what we do, we make less A-level. We'll split it to 25 that we're offering, which means we can offer 75 BTEC. Look at that. I've had to give up 25 A-level, so resources that used to be used to make A-level are now being used to provide BTECs. If we then take it even further, imagine next year that The only people that applied wanted to do BTEC. We're now offering 100 BTEC and 0 A-level. So what I've done, I've dragged all the remaining resources away from BTEC towards making A-level. Okay, I've got a constant opportunity cost. Now let's think about what the situation would really be like. Go for a curved one now. So we've got the A-levels, and we've got the BTEC. Let's imagine again we can produce a maximum of 100 A-level and 100 BTEC. Let's imagine we're somewhere like this. So based on the numbers I've got here, 60 against, let's say about 70. And again, we'll call that point A. Now imagine now that what I wanted to do was, I wanted again to produce more BTEC. So I drop down to about 50. Okay, but look what happens now. I only gain about 5 more BTEC. I'll explain why in a moment, but let's imagine we take it even further. We drop down to making only, let's say, about 25 A-level. We're offering roughly, probably about 90 BTEC. So look what's happened. In the first place, when I gave up 10 A-level, I only gained 5 BTEC. When I gave up another 25 A-level, I've gained roughly about 15 BTEC. And it's obvious that the answer why. There'll be some resources that have been doing A-levels for years. Me, for example, as a teacher of A-level. My classroom resources for A-level economics, for example, if we were to pull all them resources across to making BTEC, they'd be rubbish. They wouldn't be very good at making BTEC. Okay, so what I would say to you is that the one with the curved line is a lot more accurate for an economy, and it's because they've got a constantly changing opportunity cost.